So the last couple of weeks I laid out for you the essence of this experience that we call class. It is an experience that the experience we've just shared is an experience which is spoken to and about numerous times in various Kaula, Shakta, Shaiva scripture. This is a scriptural and practice tradition that comes out of India and probably arises, well, God only knows when, but it appears in literary form by about the 5th century. And it is, for me, the most elegant and beautiful of all the spiritual literature these traditions are that come out of India. And it is a kind of, I think Alexis used the word charismatic tradition, in the sense that everything that can possibly be known, everything that can possibly be done exists in potential in the core of our being. How beautiful. And the practice that we do here is a practice that is intended to awaken that depth of experience, that depth of connectedness to the very essence of what is alive in this world, and to, in activating that depth, to dissolve the tensions that we embody and allow for infinite flow, which is both abundance and unimaginable possibility, to transform us and the field of our experience as it reveals our complete and total interdependence in our environment. How cool is that? So there are 4 parts to our practice. The first part is the breath. The second part is the energetic mechanism, the chakras and the channels. The third part is managing the mind. And the fourth part is connection. Contact, alignment, and flow. Making a connection to ourself deeply. And from that depth of connection, connecting to our life every day. Flowing within ourselves and flowing in our world. Nurtures us and allows us to bring in all of the energies around us, refining ourselves continuously and, ultimately nourishing every part of us to the degree that we're completely fluid. That fluidity is how we understand enlightenment. The Kaula tradition is different than any other tradition in the sense that, our practice is not about closing our eyes and shutting out the world and going to some happy place. our practice is about, with our eyes open, engaging our senses and the world around us. We experience our own energy and the energy of everything, and flowing in all of it, we dissolve all our boundaries and become, it's actually slightly different, we recognize that we are the awareness which permeates our entire world. So by feeling ourselves and finding the breath within our body and finding the flow of energy within the breath within our body and finding the subtler flow of energy within the flow of energy that is the breath within our body, we begin to feel that and become alive, and in feeling that aliveness, connect in new ways to our environment, seeing our world completely differently than we've ever seen it before, and the possibilities that we live with completely different than we've ever experienced them before, and slowly there is an upsurge, an awakening of creative energy and inspiration within us that transforms us and our world in wonderful ways. And if we continue growing, in profoundly loving ways. Now I said I'd take a couple of, if you had a question about the practice or what I'd gone over, I'd try to respond to it.
I'm unsure about the second breath, how you breathe twice. I've been trying to work on that for a long time.
Okay, so it's the double breath is take a deep breath and fill your chest completely to the point where the breath stops. You don't want to force any, you don't have to force it in, you just want to fill your upper chest and hold it. There are two ways you can approach it from here on. I mean, if I do it, I've been doing it a long time, I usually count to 200. But you don't have to do that. So count to whatever, and then two things you can approach it two ways. You can either swallow in your throat and shift the breath and let the breath drop down with the swallow into your abdomen and hold it there. Or you can, at this point, when the breath in your upper chest is complete, release some of it, and then breathing in down from the diaphragm, focus the breath, fill the abdomen, and hold that and feel this expand to its completion and release it. And as you release the breath, don't unconsciously exhale. Don't unconsciously exhale. Release the breath out the top of your head. This is a very powerful breathing exercise, which, as you've heard me say, also is used by the Taoists in China as part of as really one of the most basic, Qigong, powerful Qigong programs.
I find today that, I've been trying to work in the social justice field to help out, but you run into people who are full of reaction, and there's, in these classes and different things, you find so much toxicity that it makes me question whether or not I want to be a part of it. And I was wondering if you had any pointers in how to keep yourself centered and focused on the light and not get wrapped up in the darkness.
Well, the way I do it is by really, all day, every day, I am connecting to myself and, re-initializing a very deep wish to grow within myself. And then I am moving from that to the awareness that what I'm here to grow is love, and I'm living that. The one thing I really don't do is engage in very much conversation anymore about politics or any form of identity whatsoever. Because all forms of identity, and when I say identity, I mean racial identity, ethnic identity, gender identity, class identity. I don't deal with any of that because that's all temporary. We have all been everything. And while, I'm essentially, I'm going to tell you something that's probably going to send half of you out the door, but I'm essentially a socialist. I mean, I live in a community. I think community is really important. I think community is the evolutionary advantage of human beings. I think that, American culture has essentially, part of its subtext is destroying community for the sake of, control. But I really believe deeply in community. And I believe deeply in diversity because that is the health of community. But I also understand that I have been everything, and each of us has been everything. We've been everything. We've all been, and I find that all within me now. I find, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm everything. I'm a part of every culture. I'm completely at home in India. Occasionally I remember that I'm white, and it's a little embarrassing. I mean, being a white guy is kind of embarrassing most of the time, I have to say, when I think about it. It is what I am, and I can't help that part. There's the most obvious part of me, but anyway. So, Chelsea, let's live with love. If you choose to engage the world, engage it with love. Expect that, be grateful when you're treated with respect, but don't expect to be respected by anybody. And, we're not doing it for the money. We're not doing it for the credit. We're not doing it for the atta girls. We're doing it because that's the kind of person we are. Period. You don't go out there every day, because somebody's going to find you wonderful. Because most people just aren't capable. They are poison. Let's be clear. The air is poison, the water is poison, the food is poison, the information networks are all poison. People are poison. And you see that in the civic discourse in the country today. It's poison. So, move your body. Watch your diet. But don't try to protect your heart. Just keep it open and keep your energy moving. You'll get stronger and stronger and stronger. And one of the wonderful things for me about going in places I go in India, into the desert and into the swamps, is it's amazing what extraordinary plants and animals have evolved and adapted to the desert and the swamp. And we, being the most complex of all creatures on this planet, have the capacity to take in energy and grow love in every environment, no matter how difficult. You know, I started this whole endeavor in Bloomington, Indiana, which is like 17 miles, literally, honestly, 17 miles from where the Ku Klux Klan was founded. With $5 in my pocket. And how I did it was, I did my practice. I did exactly what I just explained to you. I did my practice. I loved my teachers, and I served my students. And I've experienced every category of disrespect you can possibly imagine. And, you know, walking around in an orange dress in Indiana, what am I supposed to expect? Right? So, I'm cheerful. When you find yourself getting all tangled up in somebody else's bad behavior, you know, you let somebody make you an idiot. You let somebody reduce you to the lowest cause you to reduce yourself to the lowest common denominator. You know, and our job is to keep our hearts open and our energy flowing and developing our ability to connect to and ultimately express, you know, a depth and refinement that is ordinarily not available on Earth. Life is hard here, and it's not getting any easier. But you have the tools and the energy and the support here to do something extraordinary within and for yourself and for the people whom you love and share your life with. The rest is up to you. Namaste.